Good evening, this is New York Talk News. After a successful test of the new government early warning system, the public can expect the first official use to be in Rotherham on Thursday evening as Cardiff City arrive. Severe flooding can be expected to the south of the New York Stadium as swathes of crying fans return after the first meeting was abandoned. Reports of rain will exacerbate water levels to the point of small rafts and canoes being needed at full time. This has been your 8 o'clock update from New York Talk News.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! Mule with it, Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again! The magic man has come up with another trick! Well, here's a chance to seal it, it's done! It's Georgie Kelly! Rotherham United's pathway back to the championship is opening up!
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. You've seen the weather update. Now let's get down to business. Let's talk about Rotherham United and the game on Thursday evening. Mick is with us. Hello, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you very much. And Will Daniels is back with us. How's it going, Will?
Gents, it is a pleasure to be back. I'm looking forward to talking about the game.
Yes, very much looking forward to it. And Danny's back with us. Thank you for doing the quick weather report, Danny. Very much appreciated.
No worries at all. After a quick wardrobe change, I am back. Let's talk football.
John Morell starts us off. I hope to God you don't lose after that and make tweets for a few weeks. Yeah, we'll turn social media off if we lose. First of all, thank you for everybody who's this first episode after we hit the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. So we want to thank everybody who has subscribed. If you haven't, please do it, and then that'd be lovely. Danny's got to eat this horrendous Swedish fish at some point in the near future. That's something for us all to look forward to. So yeah, thank you, everybody. We do really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, Thursday evening, the big one, the big game of the season. Mick, well, we're recording exactly 24 hours before the start of the game. How are you feeling? Are you nervous, excited, sort of indifferent? How are you feeling about it?
I'm all right at the moment. I was just having a conversation with my wife earlier on and saying that the history of Rotherham United within this division suggests that tomorrow night is going to be a defeat. It just does. You know, we don't do it easily. We haven't done it easily. We've rarely been comfortable, coming towards the end of the season. So history suggests it's a defeat, but I'm not convinced. I'm quite looking forward. Well, I am very much looking forward to it, and I suspect we might get something out of the game.
Okay, fair enough. Well, how big is this game? And it's very easy for certainly modern day football fans. Oh, it's the biggest game ever. But how big is this game? Is it just the biggest game of the season, or do you think there's a bit more to it than that?
Well, I think we probably need a point until the end of the season to stay up. I think that's now pretty obvious. So for me, it'd be lovely to get it done on tomorrow night and make these last two games a little bit easier. As Mick says, the Rotherham United way suggests that's probably not going to happen. But I've got a funny feeling, as Mick says, like under the lights tomorrow can be a really special place. And frankly, what happened the last time we played them, don't go chasing waterfalls, Gay. Don't go chasing waterfalls. They'll want to get one over on us, and we'll want to get one over on them. So adds a little bit of spice to the game. I'm really, really looking forward to it, and I really think we can bring it home tomorrow.
Yeah, I echo both of you, to be honest with you. Danny, are you sort of same boat, or are you full on nervous wreck?
I'm nervous about it, but also very excited about it because it's like we've just said. It's funny feeling. There's a funny feeling that it's under the lights at New York. It's more or less a sellout crowd, and it's on Sky, and it's between two teams that are in a very similar league position, both wanting to push away from the relegation zone. It's got all of the ingredients for a game that's going to be an absolute thriller, but at the same time, knowing us, it'll be a 1-0 either way. But I'm super looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's got to feel Burnley last week or whenever that were. They just felt like there was something about that Burnley game, and we managed to get something out of it. Yeah. Comments. Shelley says, "Oh, anyone else nervous? For me, it's almost got a Preston playoff semi-final feel about it in terms of importance. For this season, I suppose it has, Mick. But if it all goes wrong, then we have the same feelings again on Monday. The good thing is this is not it. This is not Gillingham, where if it goes badly, we're done. We have got things to fall back on. So maybe we should, relax a little bit."
Yeah, I think we've got to be realistic about it. Well, yeah, absolutely. As fans have got to be realistic about this, haven't we? I mean, we've got 3 games to play, as have Cardiff, and Cardiff and us are in exactly the same situation. So I guess the ideal result for both teams tomorrow would be a draw. Because we've still got 2 games to play. It puts us 4 points ahead of Reading, who've still got to play Wigan and Huddersfield, and the Reading Huddersfield game, Reading Wigan game. I think that's a Saturday one. That's this coming Saturday, isn't it? Wigan have got to win that game. They have to win that game, otherwise they are relegated. They may well still be relegated even if they win it, but however, they have to win it. So that's going to be a tough game for Reading. I can't see Reading getting 4 points out of their last 2 games. I just can't see it. So a point would be ideal for both of us, but I've rambled on and I can't remember what you asked me.
You do this all the time. I forgot I even asked you.
Because I'm old, mate.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. So what we're saying is, can Cardiff fans, can we just forget about everything that's happened and just take a draw? We'll just do a 0-0 draw. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Yeah. Splash Donna says 0-0. Probably 0-0 ready. Jamie says on Sky. We normally win on Sky. What? Can we actually address Sky? Sky Sports commentators often sometimes listen to these podcasts in preparation. Nobody likes a Thursday night kickoff. Feed this back. None of us are happy that this is on a Thursday night. Tell your bosses this is a dreadful game to put on a Thursday night. I know they're doing 10 games in 10 days, what it is, but it's really, really bad. That's that out of the way. When we played Cardiff, how long it was, Will, it was a really, really poor 48 minutes from us, a really, really poor game. Yeah. Do you think that's going to be sort of good for us, right? This went wrong that time. You guys, you've got to step it up, or is that going to maybe help Cardiff in terms of their motivation levels? How do you see it going for both teams from that side?
I think both teams will approach it as a completely different game, to be fair. I think you've just got to sort of put everything what happened to the back of your mind in terms of the previous game that we played at their place and obviously the 48 minutes that we played here. They were comfortably the better side for those 48 minutes. But as we say, we've got the players on our day to be able to compete with any side in this league. So for me, we put it to one side. We start again. Luckily, we've got the opportunity to do so, unless the pitch obviously gets moist again, and then we've got the same situation. We'll see what we can do. But I'm pretty confident.
We should seriously talk about the weather. Heavy rain is forecast for tomorrow evening.
I'll be honest, lads. I think there is more chance of an equinox than just being called off again.
Yeah, agreed. Just to confirm, Oliver Langford is still scheduled to be the referee, barring an injury or something. Still the same referee that called it off in the first place. He's a popular appointment from both teams, to be honest with you. Let's go through what we think will happen could be the teams, Danny. Ollie Rathbone has a chance to start, according to Matt Taylor. Now, that would maybe a bit of a surprise because he hasn't played too many minutes. But is Ollie Rathbone the type of player who can just say, right, go, wind him up and just set him off? Or do you think maybe starting is a bit too soon?
I think with 2 tough games coming up in Borough and Wigan, I'm slightly more inclined to rest Ollie. But he is, like I say, he's one of them players where if we desperately needed him in midfield, we could just chuck him in and he'd do his thing. It's good news that his injury has improved and that he's not struggling to get out of bed now, which is brilliant. But yeah, for me, I would start him on the bench and bring him on as an impact. But you also have to weigh up we've had poor starts in first halves recently. So do you need an Ollie Rathbone type engine to get you going in the first half. That's the dilemma. But for me, I'd bring him on second half, personally.
Okay, fair enough. Obviously, the last time out, we started with Foster on the left, Keane in the middle, sort of the advanced midfielder, Chio on the right, Mick, and obviously Connor Coventry and Lindsay. If you are on Starley, which is a possibility, which one of those is making the dropout?
Well, it has to be Tariq Foster at the moment, doesn't it? I mean, his performances have been lacklustre for quite a few games now. We know what impact he can have on a game. We've seen it. But unfortunately, it seems to be one in every 4 or 5 games that he has an impact. And obviously, that's something that we can't afford at this stage of season. So it would have to be Tariq Foster and possibly either put Chio out left and Keena right, or Keena left, Chio right. Keena would start for me, definitely. So that's probably where you'd slot Ollie in, put him back in the middle, and move the other two around, whichever side you want.
There's always a possibility Willie could drop Jamie Lindsay, and then that'd be ridiculously harsh on Jamie Lindsay. But it could just maybe it's almost like, it's not like for like, but it's almost like for like in terms of the energy levels, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of player profile, Jamie Lindsay would probably be the player that drops out. I agree with Mick in terms of Fosu's current form. I think he has been off it recently. But for me, if there was one of the three to drop out, it would be Lindsay. I would probably start Ollie if he's fit. I think the energy levels that he gives us, he's part of our captain team as well. So if he's available, you want him on the pitch to rouse the team along. I think that's really important. Jamie Lindsay's done really, really well though over the last, probably been one of our standout players, to be fair, outside of maybe Cam Humphreys over the last few games. So I would take probably Lindsay out of the side for Rathbone, but probably with a really heavy heart in doing so.
Yeah. Comments. Shelley says, has the same fixture ever been postponed twice?
Derby, I think.
Did it? Did it?
In the COVID season?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did. You're right. Yeah. COVID outbreak at Christmas time, and then the what
Snow, yeah.
Oh, snow, yeah. Good shout. Great. I forgot all about that.
Best to get that season altogether, if I'm being honest. But
Shelley says, I think we have to go for it. Go strong, pressure on the off. Let's take it to them. We'll sooner go down fighting. And then Paramad, so this brings on to the next topic. Paramad will go Kelly and Hugel up top. This has been a lot of people on social media seen Kelly play recently, who has been brilliant when he's coming on sub, to be fair to him. And just sort of gone 2 and 2 together. Let's start Kelly and Hugel together. Hugel's been a little bit off it because of his illness, Danny. First of all, do you see that as a real option to say, right, let's go 2 up top?
I'd like to see it utilised at least once, having Kelly and Hugel up top, but seeing how strong a performance Kelly puts in when he comes off the bench, I would rather bring him on from the bench, if I'm being honest, because you see that lift and how much he basically just throws himself into everything. You know, that's how he got his goal against Burnley, by throwing himself into it straight from the off. That's how he won the ball back numerous occasions down at Bristol, because he threw himself into everything off the bench. And I'm sure it was earlier on in the season when he did start, but he's just not as impactful from the start. I think if you want a proper Georgie Kelly performance, we need to see Georgie Kelly start on the bench, unfortunately.
He started against Stoke, and certainly Stoke away from home, and he really struggled. I think after the Huddersfield, he scored. Do you think that's just where Kelly is in his career, mate? Do you think we don't know because we haven't seen him since the start, since probably Stoke. So we are guessing and watching him and making these guesses. But do you think that's where Kelly is at the minute? Do you think he is right, just impact player? And he's maybe a bit harsh because he comes on and does more than just score goals. Or do you think he is almost ready to have a go there?
No, I don't think he is. Personally, I don't think he is. I just feel that for me, fitness is possibly an issue for Georgie Kelly in terms of the pace of the game. Whether he can't keep that pace up that he gives us when he comes on a substitute. He can't keep that up for 90 minutes. He's just not fit enough. So I'm with Danny. for me, bring him on, even if it's at half time. Just give him a half, and he can have a very, very positive impact, as we've seen. So I personally, I wouldn't start him.
Fair enough. Will, are you in the same boat? Because it means changing off his formation as well, wouldn't it, from what we have been playing?
Yeah, I mean, for us, if we're going to play R. Kelly, oh God, can't play R. Kelly up top, can you? I believe I can fly and all that. For me, if you're going to play Kelly and Hugill up top, you are going to have to drop a midfielder. And given the fact that most teams now play with that 3-man midfield, it just means you're going to get overrun in the middle at Park. So for me, that doesn't work. I think the problem that we've had this season is the service into Hugill and the players that have played in that area. So I don't think necessarily putting 2 up top is going to help, because the service still won't be there, and there'll be less service of it. Less service there as well. And I think for me, Georgie Kelly is a player that is all blood, guts and thunder. I think he's a great player to have on the bench, to come on and just absolutely, empty his tank 60 minutes in, give absolutely everything. He is a player that if you're a defender 60 minutes in, you don't want to see a Georgie Kelly coming on who's going to batter and bruise you and make you think for the last part of the game. So that's his role, I think, in the squad. But if I'm proved wrong and he comes up, he starts tomorrow and gets hat trick, then I'll happily bow at his feet.
Yeah. He only scores on post 80th minute anyway, so it's pointless starting him because he won't score anyway till later on. So
yeah.
He also, this is maybe not the reason you do this, Danny, but he also gives us an option. If you did start Kelly and Hugill together, what are you then going to change it to from an attacking point of view? The only option really then is to take a striker off, which is not really ideal, because obviously Eves seems well out of favour. So it gives you a massive option from the bench to change something positive. Whether if you're 2-0 down, you want to go 2 strikers, bang him on. If Hugill's blowing, chuck Kelly on, and it works. It just gives you a better option if he's on the bench.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I completely agree with Will when he said he's blood, guts and thunder. That is Georgie to a T. He sort of gets into the positions that are a bit unorthodox to a point, but he knows the run to make, but it's almost like unorthodox positional wise. And that's what I like about him. He's like with his goal against Gillingham, for a striker that late on in the game, his positioning was a little bit unorthodox because he was completely behind the back line of Gillingham, but still managed to score. And yeah, that's what I like to see from Kelly. I like to have a striker like that, other than Tom Eves, no offence intended, but the striker to empty his tank and come on effectively when we need that sort of performance the most is why Kelly sticks to the bench for now, I think.
Yeah. John Morell says, COVID, snow, rain, any more excuses that we've got? That's what we do. We're on the United, we upset people.
The whole team has got scurvy, so they can't play tomorrow.
John Morell says, as a neutralist, seen Kelly a few times. He doesn't look anywhere near good enough to make it this level. Sorry, he's a fan's favourite. Yeah, I mean, he's very unorthodox, Mick, and I think that's the best way to put it. He does his own thing in his own way, but up to a point, it has been successful. He's not ready yet. I know he's 26, but it's almost better not to look at his age. It's look at his experience in English football, and he has improved fairly significantly in a year.
He has, and I suspect, if I take my red and white glasses off, I suspect Johnny's probably right in that whether he's going to make it as a full-time 90 minutes championship player is certainly up for debate. However, he is, and we've talked about this a few times on the podcast and off the podcast, he is a goal scorer. He is a natural goal scorer. If you put him in that 18-yard box, he will hit the target. He will score goals. So, yes, I'm not convinced he's ever going to be up to championship standard for running a full 90 minutes and, playing at the level that some of these championship strikers play at. But he will score goals, and he will score important goals. So I don't know where that leaves us in terms of the question that you just asked, but that's kind of my view on him. We all love him, and we will always love him for what he did for us last season. And hopefully, fingers crossed, he can do the same for us this season. On 86 minutes tomorrow, 0-0, and Georgie pops up and bangs one in. I mean, that would just cement him as a legend for 2 goals.
Oh.
But it's his character as well, isn't it? It's his personality. Yeah. Everything about him is likable, and that can cloud your views, I guess, a little bit in terms of what you want from him. But he will score goals, whatever level you put him at. He will score.
Yeah. Josh says Kelly's at the 4th highest goals per minutes ratio in the league.
Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me. George is like a drug. Once you've had a taste of him, you want some more. Which is true as well. Moving on to some other players. Shelley says, need Ferguson on the left, who's crossing the best we have. Matt Taylor mentioned that he hadn't trained prior to the Bristol City game, which is one of the reasons he didn't start. That throws another question in there. Well, do you bring Fergie in? Because he almost scored, so close to scoring against Bristol City. He's had a bit of a new lease of life under Matt Taylor, to be honest with you. I've been really, really impressed in the second half of the season. If he is fully fit, how tempted are you to bring him back in?
Well, he comes into the side. He's the only player that can cross a ball, so that really helps us as a team. That, I mean, being brutally honest, I absolutely love Tariq Fosu. I think he's a player that creatively can add quite a lot to our game. But there were times in that Bristol City game where he was out wide left. He was 1-on-1, but he slowed the game down so much that 1-on-1 became 1 against 2 or 3. And it stopped us being as creatively brilliant as we could have been. And for me, Fergie is a player that has to play if he's fit, because we don't have anyone else like him in the side.
Yeah, I agree. I'll definitely start him. I just like his aggression and everything else he brings as well. That brings us on to the defence a little bit, Mick. We don't know who's fit, to be honest with you. Tyler Blackett came off at half time. Could be fit. Richard Wood should be fully fit, and he's had almost a week's rest, 5 days rest, 6 days rest. I'm asking you a question that you are not going to be able to answer, but what would you do in that position?
I'd play Richard Wood.
Okay.
I would play Richard Wood. I think Tyler Blackett is struggling with injury. I think I've read today that he's still not 100%. He's struggling with his hamstring. We've still got 2 games to go. If we don't get anything out of tomorrow, we're going to need him, because the next game is on Monday. So, it comes around pretty quickly. So I'd be looking at Richard Wood. It gives us that leadership on the pitch as well, which is really, really important. It doesn't... Well, he offers us as much as Blackett does for me, and his experience and his leadership. So, yeah, Richard Wood all day long for me would start.
Donna says Blackett highly likely in the interview today. Yeah, John Morell, it's a game for experienced players. Woody all day long, which I think is another important thing, and maybe one of the reasons that Matt Taylor's been keen to keep Woody sort of close to the squad, even if not playing, for when things get properly serious. You want to be relying on Mr. Wood, don't you? Danny, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you do. Like they said, Woody's got experience in these sort of games. One of them where, you have to really put everything into it. Because Matt Taylor said in his interview, the players are already up for this game and it doesn't really need any extra spice. But I think with Woody's time with Rotherham and his experience of games like this, he'll be adding his own spice to it. He's got the paprika out the cupboard ready for this sort of game. And I think Woody coming in and Blackett dropping out is sort of the right timing for Woody to start and really get the team going for a game like this. Like Palmer's just said there, Woody thrives on pressure. Yeah, he does. And the pressure will be on for this one because it is effectively a must not lose. And Woody will get them organised and get them going and just get everybody up for it, really.
Yeah. Are you the same, Will? Woody is most of the time he is Mr. Reliable, to be fair, in terms of performances, but he's just the leader of men in it.
I think in normal circumstances, I would have probably said try and keep Richard Wood away from this situation because they've got a little bit of pace. They've got a striker in Sorry Cabaru, I think is is far too good for Cardiff and won't be playing there next season. Hopefully they'll listen to this and clip that up and when they get the 20 million quid for him, tell me that I were absolutely bang on. I think he is a player. They're a side that's quite direct, so I think Woody is a player that can dominate in the air and therefore would be quite a good pick. And given the fact that Blackett's not quite fit, I think it probably is the only option that we currently have. So that's probably the way that I would be leaning towards, to be honest. And as you mentioned, under the New York lights, he's absolutely immense in these big occasions, and hopefully he can come up, again. And I guess the one thing as well that will be in the back of Woody's mind is he's coming towards the end of his Rotherham United career, I believe. So this could be one of the last times that we see Woody on that New York turf. So I think he'd have that extra spring in his step to do a decent job.
Yeah, and you say he's due a goal, Mick. I know he's not played, but he's due a goal. And wouldn't it just be Richard Wood to score at nothing?
Of course it would. Of course it would. And he is any time there's a corner, he is a danger. He's an absolute wrecking ball, as we know. Just on about the pace that they've got up front as well, though. Even if you're playing Richard Wood, you've got Cam Humphreys, and I assume Cohen Bramall will start as well. You've got plenty of cover there in terms of pace. There will be nobody on that pitch quicker than Cohen Bramall. I don't care how fast they are; they ain't as fast as Cohen Bramall. So, and he's been absolutely. I shouldn't be saying this, should I? Because I'm
No,
just
probably shouldn't know.
Setting him up for a fall. But he's been absolutely immense the last 2 games he's played, 2 or 3 games. He's been absolutely excellent. He's keeping Hilger out of the squad, out of the first team, starting 11. Sorry, on merit. So we've got plenty of pace back there. That shouldn't be an issue too much, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Reg says, I play Woody in these games because of their experience. Josh says, Wood was class against Burnley, as he always is. Shelley says, Woody will win every header, not seen too many times in the air. A striker has had the better of him for a full game. No, that's very, very true. Jamie says, New York would erupt with a Woody goal. Yes, it would. It'd be quite.
I suspect it erupts for anyone scoring. To be fair, yeah,
you're probably right. Shelley says, "Don't worry, there's room in Cam Humphreys' pocket for Cabba, along with some of the other strikers he pocketed this season." We should have read that out because I'll get clipped and all if we lose.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this a day before? It's just asking for trouble, isn't it? Any other changes, Danny? We mentioned pace. And again, you would normally say Peltier's experience. Again, the type of experience you want in this sort of game, but Peltier is lacking the pace at this stage. Wes is quick. Kyoso's had injury problems, from what I can understand from Matt Taylor. I thought Peltier had a slow first 45 minutes. He was one of the issues last week. Peltier, I thought he really struggled first half. And Wes has been good recently.
Yeah, they sort of had the better of us on the right hand side with Pelts being there. I mean, Kyoso didn't travel to Bristol because I believe he had an illness thing. But the inside training stuff from New York Stadium that the club put out did see Kyoso at least going out to warm up. I don't know if he was doing his own training or whatever. So at least Kyoso could be an option there. But then again, there is Wes as well. I think we all agree that Wes does have a mistake in him, but his recent form has been very good. He's sort of got his head down and got on with it, and he's done all right. So yeah, Wes is an option. Be very, very pacey right hand side if we've got Chio and Wes running the flanks, if you like, and then the midfield 3. But it all comes down to how you are under pressure. And I think Peltier is a little bit like Woody in that regard. He likes the pressure of the occasion. But I think Peltier's got a little niggly injury thing as well, hasn't he?
He's been nursing something for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, so it depends on how that behaves effectively, whether it's going to be him or Harding. But if Kyoso's fit, I'd put Kyoso in over the other 2 of them as well, because he's quite quick as well with Kyoso.
He is, yeah. Shelley says for me, Kyoso is fit at right back. Yeah. Could you see Kyoso being dropped in, Will? And I agree, I would probably like to see him, but for me, it seems an outside bet, really, based on the recent picks.
Well, I mean, it depends on what the health of the squad, doesn't it? I mean, anything can happen at this stage, given our injury record. For me, he's not really at game time, so I would be very, very surprised to see him start a game of football at this stage of the season. But who knows? I mean, I think he'd be a massive, massive threat for us from set pieces. Really good in the air. So obviously, either box, to be fair, he'd be really helpful, especially against the side. They've got the likes of Kipre, McGuinness, Cabaret, we've discussed already. Attacking those set plays could be a big, big part of the game. So I could see why he could come in, but I don't see it happening.
Chris Taylor says we need pace at right back because O'Dowda is down the left for them, he thinks. Has O'Dowda been fit, or am I thinking of somebody else that's injured for them? I might be thinking of Robinson. No, Robinson's injured, isn't he? Very often do scouting reports to find out. We don't know is the answer to that one. We might look into that.
Do some digging.
Yeah. YouTube users said, briefly on Ben Wiles, do you think Ben Wiles will start and be on the bench? Matt Taylor-Mick has been very, very cautious on what he's been saying on Ben Wiles. I think he's been very, very careful not to get Ben Wiles' hopes up as much as ours, to be honest with you. But he is basically going to be available for the squad. He was available last week, but because of the defensive issues, he didn't get in the squad. If he is available, like Shelley's put here, Ben Wiles get a good 20 minutes or so. It could be key towards the end of the season. A creative player like Ben Wiles for 20 minutes when you need something would be such a great substitution to have.
Absolutely, and I really hope to see him on bench tomorrow at the very least. I can't see him starting. I just cannot see that being an option at the moment, just because of his lack of any sort of match time over the last however many months. So, but I'd love to see him on the bench, and like Shelley said there, an extra get 20 minutes from him at the end, particularly if we're chasing the game, because he can give you that's something special, as we know. So yeah, it'd be nice to see him. Be nice to see him back in that red and white shirt.
Yeah, it would. Let's go through a few bits and stats of the Cardiff game, not including the game we played the abandoned game. We've lost 4 out of the last 5 games against Cardiff, both home and away. The last home win was in September 2015, which I think was Steve Evans' final home game as Rotherham manager. I think he got sacked the week after we beat Birmingham. Something there. Cardiff's last 2 wins have been away from home as well, which doesn't bode well for Thursday night either. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's a good sign. If they got because it's a good sign that last 2
not going to
wins,
win 3 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. They do a defeat or a draw.
Is that a character? I think they've got the second worst away record in the division. So
after us,
we're a bit higher. They get league
I can also add that if we beat Cardiff tomorrow, it's Cardiff's it's Cardiff's 10th executive away game without a draw, and Cardiff's 9th consecutive match with at least 1 goal conceded. So they are a side that do concede goals and either win or lose games. So we're in for some fun.
We are, yeah. They've won. They are 20th, so what's that? 5th bottom in terms of the away record. They've only won 6 games away from home all season. 2 of those in the last 2 games. So they have a bit of a they have a turn performance since Lamusha came in. To be honest with you, but
I think I have an update on Callum O'Dowda. I think he will be fit for the Rotherham game, because I've had a look at Cardiff City's pre-Rotherham press. And it's saying that the manager hopes Connor Wickham will be available, as well as Ruben Colwill. Is that how you say it? And the only player who's a certified out is Ryan Allsop.
Yeah, and Robinson. He's out for the season.
Yeah.
Cool. So we've talked about the individuals, Danny. What do you just want to see from Rotherham United in general? And then that's again a very wide-ranging question, really. But is it just turn up, put a bit of pressure on them, and just play at Rotherham United, or have we got to do something different? Certainly from last time I played them.
There's a chant that I really want to get going, but I'm not allowed to because it's got a swear word in it that I'm not allowed to say live. Just give them a game, turn up from minute one. Like we mentioned before, we've had poor starts in first halves, but the games that we've really come out of the blocks flying are the games that we've done well in. Like look at West Brom, for example, at home. If we have a similar start out the gates to West Brom, then I think we give Cardiff a game, because when Cardiff turned up for 48 minutes last time, we didn't turn up in the first half, and they scored more or less inside 15 minutes, which is very scarily similar to the Bristol City game. Didn't turn up in the first half, they scored within 15 minutes. I think if we really get at them and press them hard early on, and they know it's not the same Rotherham that turned up last time, then we could catch them, get an early goal, whatever. But for me, it's really get at them to begin with.
Shelley says, at home we should have nothing to fear. Look at some of the sides we've taken apart in New York. However, this is Rotherham United. Yeah. Donna says we just need desire. Terry Fenby thinks the high press will win it for us. Slow starts will have been an issue recently. And that's something that's got to change. But if we have a slow start on Thursday, we saw how much they were up for it when we played them originally. That's not going to have gone down. That their desire to win this game can only have increased. So that adds to us. We've got to be in a position where we've got to at least match their start, if not better it. We've got to.
Yeah, I mean, certainly for me, there's a couple of areas that we need to do much better than we have been doing. Number one is we need to defend our box really well. I was really disappointed with the 2 goals that we conceded against Bristol City, to be honest. Although I do agree that the first Bristol City goal is an absolutely wonderful cross and very difficult to defend. So we've got to defend our box a little bit better, but I mean we do have that in the locker. I think if we concentrate. The second one is, harking back to that abandoned game. We've got to win that midfield battle. Like they ran through the middle of us at some points in that abandoned game, and we were completely off it. So that's why I think Ollie Rathbone's energy will be a big part of this game. Actually, I could probably see an argument for both him and Lindsay starting, just to nullify that threat that they've got through the middle, the likes of Sawyers and Philogene. I've got Michael Jackson in my head right now saying that. Yeah, they've got so much quality in the middle of the park, and we need to nullify that. If we can do that, and we can be aggressive in our press, and we can work the ball into wide areas and get Chio one-on-one and get early balls into the box from Fergie or Keener or Fosu or whoever plays out there, then I think that's the opportunity that we have to get a result out of the game.
Yeah. Phil says, too many times we've wasted 45 minutes this season. I think it's true. Shelley said, when we've pressed teams from the off, they've panicked at the back and made mistakes. We can't allow them to dictate the game, which I think is true. When troops travels almost proposes, all else fails, there's always the sprinklers, which is very true.
Yeah.
Going back to that game, I know we probably shouldn't keep going back to the abandoned game, but you look at our starting midfield, it's very different. Connor Coventry, Adoffin, and Tarek Foster were your midfield 3. I mean, the Connor Coventry we've got now is a different guy, to be honest with you. He is literally a different guy. So that's a tick. You've got Ollie Rathwood probably available for a start, and then maybe Keener or Lindsay in there as well. That's already a much stronger midfield than we have. No disrespect to Adoffin, to be honest with you. He has some good games. But in terms of trying to match their energy, that's the midfield we could set up with. It could be where Will's right, where the game's won and lost.
Yeah, it is. And when we played Cardiff last time, that was right in the middle of the period where our midfield had kind of gone AWOL, hadn't it? Yeah. They weren't in the games that we were playing around about that period. So you look back now to the last few games, and it's been a different kettle of fish altogether. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's important that we're on it, and that midfield is involved in the game, because they weren't last time. They just weren't. But you rightly point out, Connor Coventry is a different player. He's come alive in the last 3 or 4 games, whether that's just because he's kind of grown into the team and Jamie Lindsay's in there helping him out as well, doing the dirty work for him. So we'll have to wait and see. But I just, what I want from this game, it's what I want, what I always want: get pressing right from minute one, get in the faces. I can't remember who said it in the comments there. You will press these teams into mistakes. There isn't a team in this division, including Burnley, as we've shown twice this season, that you can't press into a mistake, because none of them are good enough. With the greatest respect, I'm not having a dig. None of them are good enough to play this kind of football that they all aspire to, for 90 minutes. They can play it here and there. They can have these little bits of, pretty play, but if you press them and get in their faces, they will make mistakes. So that's what we need to be doing it from the off. And if we do it from the off, we will win the game.
Fair enough. Let's do it. Like it. Again, we'll just tick off the fixtures coming up for the weekend ahead. Obviously, because we play in a really awkward time. There's no Friday night games, is there? Yeah, Blackpool play Millwall Friday night. Blackpool can go down, I think, but who cares about them? The Reading host Wigan. Reading's home form is very good this season. So although Wigan need a win, Reading are at home as we were on the wrong end of that. QPR play Stoke, go to Stoke, although QPR may well have found a way out somehow. Nobody will never know how they found a way out, but they found a way out. And then Sunday, 12 o'clock, Cardiff against Huddersfield. And obviously, it was Monday, 1 o'clock. At home to Middlesbrough as well.
I don't think Middlesbrough can get automatics now, can they?
It depends what happens at Bramble Lane tonight.
5 points off, are they? Is it? Hang on.
I think it's 5 points off. I think United need a point tonight, and it's 0-0 at the moment. So,
yeah, no, you're right. They can't make it. No, Luton can. Luton can still catch them. Borough in third, and almost certainly going to be fourth. Sorry. There is a scenario we can't be safe. I suppose this is the sort of headline. We can't be officially safe on Thursday. Even if we win, we are not technically safe. There is a scenario where we could be safe on Saturday. So if Reading lose to Wigan and we pick up anything, we are safe. If we match results again, we're not technically safe, but we would be all but safe. Then it depends on Huddersfield. How Huddersfield get on next week. Let's not get into the technicalities because we took about 20 minutes the last show talking about. But essentially, we can be safe if we pick up something and Reading lose. We can be safe by Saturday tea time. So let's see how it goes on that one. Splashhead Donna in the Splashhead Swim School says, "I feel sick about tomorrow. I've done since last week." Yeah. Terry Flemby says, "Is it right that Matt doesn't talk to the team beforehand, only at half time? And is this why we start not very good, but second half better?" Yeah, there's something I mentioned on the last episode. I brought up a point and then caused an argument with everybody else. So yeah, if you listen, I listened to Matt Taylor talking to the My New Football Club podcast, which is really good, to be honest with you. They follow Exits in. Matt Taylor did an interview with him. It's about 2 years ago, to be honest with you, January 2020, something like that. It's really good, really interesting. But that's one of the things that Matt Taylor mentioned, that he doesn't. He's pretty much routines. He talks to players about 1:30 and then leaves them. He lets them do their own thing, lets them take their information on board, and next time he speaks to them is half time. If you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it. It's really funny. It's really good. That was just one thing I picked out of it. So sorry for starting something on the last episode. I didn't mean to.
Bear in mind, that's not to say that he does that here, is it? But that's
I'm going to say it's 2 or 3 years ago now, so yeah. He's learned. I assume he's learned. He's only gets better. He's only got better, and hopefully. Yeah, let's go through some predictions. Mick, what do you want to say? What do you want to do for the first game?
What do I want from it? Oh my word! Obviously, I want 3 points, and I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay,
I'm going to go 1-1.
Fair enough. Will?
So, just looking at Cardiff's results against the other teams around us. So basically they've won 2 games and lost 2 games. So I think the obvious thing would be a draw, right? But Cardiff don't draw games by the looks of it. So I'm going to go for a Rotherham win. I'm going to go for a Rotherham. I don't back us to keep a clean sheet in this game, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 Rotherham win.
2-1. I like it. Hang on, got my pen. Hang on. Apologies. They've drawn the second least, joint second least in the entire division with Reading, who've drawn 10. Only Sheffield United and Middlesbrough have drawn less with 8. On Blackburn as well. Danny?
You know what? Sod it. 1-0 to us.
I think it's like 4-0.
No.
Okay.
No, we're not going to run away with it too much. We need to show it at least a little bit of respect to Cardiff coming all the way back up again. So just by winning by 1, that'll do it. But we still need to go for it and win, in my opinion. And I think we might just do that.
Fair enough. I'm going to go positive with 3-1. It quite often happens where the abandoned game is so very, very different to the replay game. It's spooky it happens, but that's what I hope for. And 3-1, we can just sail off into the sunset then, can't we? And just relax for once in this damn footballing lives. Chris Tiller says 2-0, Phil says 1-1. Josh says 3-1, Hugo double, and Wood with the other. Harvey Cowick says 2-1. Donna says she's predicted it's going to be a washout draw. Like
God.
There. Very good. Terry Femi says 3-2. Squeaky YouTube user says Squeaky won 3-2 to us.
Oh, no.
Stress. Not sure about that.
No.
Reg says 1-0. I recommend bringing the Brown Underpants. Phil says the trouble is we've won only 2 of our last 15 games. That doesn't sound great, but there's plenty of draws. There's a lot of draws in there. I wonder how many of those we've lost. Won't be many, will it? Might be a couple. We could look it up, but we're not going to. Mike Miller says 1-1.
I will be.
I think we're just about done. Is there any topics from the game you want to talk about? I feel like I've talked myself into a bit calmer place than I was to start with.
Thankfully, it's on a Thursday night, so there's not going to be a lot of travelling supporters. I think that the atmosphere could have been very, very hostile had it been back on a Saturday afternoon, and all the hype that some sections of the Cardiff City supporters, not all of them, but some of them, all the hype that they created as a result after following the last game was mind-boggling, to be perfectly honest. So that could have created a bit of a difficult atmosphere, but so we just need to make sure that we as spectators and supporters do our job. Yeah, because we've got a job to do on Thursday night, and we know what it's like under lights at New York when there's an atmosphere. It can be very, very intimidating for the opposition, and that's what we need to create. That's our job. We can't be sat on our hands. We need to be coming out of there with croaky voices, every last one of us, and getting behind them.
There's a lot of pressure on us. I mean, obviously, from our perspective, we need to try and get something from the game to stay up. But, the amount of people that I've spoken to that want us to win this game, like, I think we've got the whole of Swansea, the whole of Bristol behind us, the whole of the rest of Wales. It's a big responsibility, but I think we're ready. I think we're going to step up to the plate.
I wonder if that's why Bristol beat us in the last minute, just to give us that extra kick of motivation. Like, go and beat Cardiff now.
Maybe.
But I have got the numbers for you. We've won 2 of the last 15, but we've also drawn 6.
For a team that's in our position, that's not terrible, to be honest with you.
No, it's not too bad.
The good thing about us this season is we've continued to pick, other than the post World Cup, we've continued to pick points up. There's not been really too many barren patches, which is why we've mentioned in the last podcast why I feel like so confident that we will still get the job done. I can't see us losing the last 4 games of the season. I just think that's so unlikely with how we've done so far this season. Again, I may be dreading those words when we play Wigan, but I just got faith in this team, got faith in Matt Taylor to pull it out of the bag. We're still. I think the thing is, we've had the previous manager for so long, we knew exactly what to expect. In whatever happened, whatever circumstance that game was going to be, right, he's going to do this. The team's going to be up for this, or they're not going to be up for it. We're still learning with Matt Taylor a little bit, so I suppose that's maybe a little bit of everybody's nerves, as we're just not sure how he's going to react to the high pressure situations.
No, absolutely, and we see the way that the team play differently from game to game, and I certainly assume that that's just down to the manager and how he's either setting them up, asking them to play, or whatever. But then you kind of look at it and some of the comments that he makes and some of his actions on the touchline suggest that the players are not actually putting into practice what he's doing. You know, when we are playing poorly, particularly in that first half at Bristol. Clearly, he was not happy with the way that they were playing. They weren't playing the way he wanted them to play. Came out in the second half, a different team. So, it's difficult to know where we are, but I can't. I'm the same as you. We have been inconsistent, and we've not been great the last game. So we should be great the next, because that's what we do.
Would you win?
Precisely.
From me, yeah, right. Need the crowd to be at it all game. Josh put in the comments somewhere about it being almost a sellout. Yeah, I don't know when the tickets go off sale. I think it's pretty much up to kickoff. So if you haven't got a ticket already, go and get yourself a ticket and make it a horrible place for a Cardiff player to be tomorrow. And make it a really intense atmosphere. And if things don't go well, don't worry about it. We'll go again Monday. We sell out again Monday. We make it a horrible place for Middlesbrough to be on Monday. And then we've got, I think the Wigan tickets have gone really well. Are they close to selling out the Wigan tickets, or am I imagining something?
Something. Off the top of my head, they're over 3,000, I think, or at least around and about 3,000 anyway.
I think I read 3,500, but might be wrong.
Brilliant. Hopefully, we can all have a big party next week at Wigan. It'd be amazing. Hopefully there's nothing resting on it.
I don't know if you can see that on my phone. The light's a little bit too bright, but the entirety of New York Stadium sold out. There you go, it's focused now. The entirety is sold out other than the southeast corner. Right. So we've got a nice little pincer movement all the way around the stadium. Loving that.
Harvey Cowick says there's about 400 tickets left for the Borough game. So again, no matter what the result tomorrow, get it down for Borough, because we could be celebrating again. We can have two celebrations, can't we? One at home to Borough, one away to Wigan.
It'd be nice to get those 3 points tomorrow. Then we can welcome back Dan Barlasser and Matt Crooks and give them a proper welcome back, because they deserve it. It's good to see Dan Barlasser finally being freed the other night and allowed on the pitch.
You can change your Twitter handle now.
You got, sorry?
You can change your Twitter handle now.
Well, I can't really, can I? Because he's not free while ever he's playing for anybody other than us.
Okay. Fair enough.
And to be honest, I'd rather him be under lock and key on Monday.
Yeah. We should also get mentioned for the Rotherham women's team announced a game at New York Stadium for the first time ever, I think it is. They're playing the Her Game 2 Shield against Mansfield Town, which is the 11th of May, which is the Thursday after the Wigan game. I think it's like £4 or something like that. So if you're watching some football at New York Stadium post-season, it's £4. What's £4 between friends? So yeah. Anything else we've waffled on a bit? Anything else we last call for topics, notes, mentions?
Buy tickets for tomorrow. I wonder if it's one of the first times where the rearranged fixture has sold more tickets than the original fixture.
Probably.
No, because obviously people got their own tickets back, like for this one, but we've still upped the attendance again from that original number. So,
are you ready for the horrendous issues on the gates when the tickets don't work because they've been keyed in wrong? And there's just queues and queues and queues everywhere. Season tickets don't work, and then the renewed ones don't work. It'd be great. Yeah. Sebastian finish on. Do you think Dan will get a good reception on Monday? He didn't leave under bad terms, but depending on tomorrow, Saturday could maybe send us down. It'll be fine. We love Dan Barlasser. No matter, it's not our fault. It's not his fault. We're a relegation scrap at the point, so he will get a wonderful reception. I have no doubt about that until he scores. They can get a boo. Right. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone. As I mentioned, with over 1,000 subscribers, we really, really do appreciate that. I remember Mick telling us to do it on YouTube 2 years ago. I thought it was a stupid idea. And here we are, 1,000 subscribers. So well done, Mick. That was a good call.
Yeah. What the one and only good call of my life, mate.
I can think of one other one, but other than that, yeah, I think it's been
all right, fair enough. It's funny actually because today at work I've been actually no, it weren't today, but a couple of days ago at work, and I've been reminded today that I was complimented by somebody, or it was supposedly a compliment when I was described as adequate.
That's a compliment, is it?
I was pleased with it, mate. I was pleased with that. I'll be honest.
Okay. And Donna with the big question: when's Danny eating the fish? That will be post-season.
We've got a date in the works. Don't worry.
We've got a plan for this.
Danny, I'll be honest, mate. I would rather sniff a cloth of Rehypnol than eat whatever you're eating. That just looks horrific.
It's for content, isn't it? It got us to 1,000 subscribers. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I've embarrassed myself on the internet once during this show. I might as well do it again whilst I'm actually on holiday.
Just this show.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, so thank you everybody. It means a lot to us and thanks to Will and Kev and Luis and everybody else who's been on with us over the past couple of years. It's been fun, and we're nearly at the end of another season. We need to finalise the dates for the end of season award show. We need everyone to get the black ties and tuxedos ready for the end of season award show. That'll be towards the end of May, to be honest with you. We've again maybe got something special lined up for that, which Mick's in charge of organising, which will probably fail because of that. Well, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, get down on Thursday. If you haven't already got your ticket, try and get a ticket. Get down, support the Millers. Or if you're watching from home, as Joyce says, send positive vibes to the stadium as well, if you can, please, because we'll need it. We need it. Danny, thank you very much. I feel better. After Sunday's episode, I felt more stressed after the episode. I feel like we've all taken ourselves into a good place going into tomorrow, I hope.
It's like what Howard Webb says. It's like group therapy, this, isn't it?
100% like group therapy.
It all lets us de-stress a little bit, but I'm still mildly stressed about tomorrow. I'll be less stressed when we've won after 90 minutes.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. And also the instant reaction will be out at some point Thursday night. Again, whatever the result, that could be quite an interesting watch, the instant reaction. Again, check out YouTube tomorrow night. Will, it's been a pleasure to have you back with us, mate. Thank you very much for being with us.
No problem at all. I'm going to be going and listening to my rain-based playlist and hoping for 3 points. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
It's funny, because that was the exact song that were in my head and all.
And Mick, are you going to tweet out one last rain-related song tomorrow, just for old time's sake?
I may well do. What I should have done really is save the really good one up, shouldn't I, till this game, and I ain't got one. So I'll just
remake. I've got plenty I can send you.
Well, thank you, everybody. We will see you next time. Up the Millers. Come on.
Here we go.
Ravel. Vicious. Brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got around the back. And Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it.